Today's recipe comes from this cookbook, Antojitos. So this recipe was a little bit of a fail, but also kind of a win. So that's why I decided to share it with you. The recipe itself is wonderful. It's called corn masa boats with chorizo, or chalupas con chorizo, and I really wanted to try it. All these flavors looked amazing. I just didn't quite execute the chalupas perfectly. They ended up being more like tostadas. They were supposed to look like this, but as you'll see, they didn't. But I decided to share the footage with you anyways because the flavor was really, really good. So let's get started. You start with some dried chilies. I have dried arbol and guajillo here. Put those in a bowl with some garlic, onions, and bay leaf. Cover that with some boiling hot water and a bit of vinegar, and cover that and then set it to the side to let those chilies rehydrate. After a couple of hours, you can blend all of that up, and this will be our red sauce that's going to flavor the chorizo. This was very spicy, so if you are wanting to make this, I would suggest opening up the chilies and taking out the seeds because this was really spicy, super flavorful though. I reduced it a little and then I set it to the side to cool down. I have some ground pork here to it. I'm adding some cumin, oregano, black pepper, and a little bit of ground clove. This was surprising to me and I was nervous that it was going to overtake the dish, but it didn't. It just added a really, really good flavor. And now here's my cooled red sauce. I didn't use all of it. As you can see, I'm just kind of dolloping in some there, and I had some reserved for later. Mix that all up, and then cover it, and I put it in the fridge to rest for a few hours to let the flavors develop. And this is our chorizo. Okay, now here I'm going to attempt to make chalupas. So I have my masa, and I'm adding water. I've never done this before, as you can probably tell. I'm mixing it all up and forming a dough, and I was getting confident. I was like, okay, I can handle this. Look, it's coming together. This will be totally fine. Well, you'll see when things start to go wrong. But anyway, here I'm kneading it a little bit to get it to all stay together. I mean, looks pretty good, right? I was thinking so. And then I cut it into my different little portions for each chalupa. And then I rolled those portions into a ball. Now here's where things start to go south. I got out my rolling pin, and I should not have done this. I should have just barely pressed them down. Here I'm rolling them out. Oh, made with love, my cute little rolling pin. But yeah, I was rolling them out like tortillas, and that was completely defeating the purpose. They should be a lot fatter than this, a lot thicker than this, and I should have just barely pressed down on that ball. I should not have rolled them out so much. No. But, you know, you gotta learn from your mistakes, so don't do what I did. Because then the recipe wants you to toast it in a very hot cast iron pan. So I did that, and I was starting to realize that I made these much too thin. And I don't know why I was surprised, but oh well. So you toast those on both sides, and then it was so hot, but it wants you to kind of form, a little divot in the center. And I was like, how do I do this? Well, I messed up. I messed up royally. But I was trying to form it, didn't really work. Then you get some oil really, really hot. See, this one broke because it was too thin, but you fry these up in the oil. And so, they were kind of saved because anything fried in oil is going to taste good. So, they tasted good. They tasted fine. They held the chorizo fine, but they weren't chalupas. Not by any stretch of the imagination. So I just fried those until they were golden brown. And here's what they looked like. Kind of looked like cookies from that angle. Okay, then here's the chorizo. It smelled so good. I've never made a homemade chorizo before, but oh, this was wonderful. This made the recipe worth it. I just browned that up in a pan. And now we're ready to plate up. So I have my little tostadas, whatever they are there. You put your chorizo on top. Then some diced onion. I made some homemade tomatillo salsa. That was really good and tangy. A little dollop of sour cream. Some cilantro. And some cotija cheese. And then I put some guacamole on the table to serve alongside. The flavor of these was so good. And I know I messed up the chalupas, but the flavor was still there and we very much enjoyed them. I think this recipe was wonderful and it was totally user error. I messed up the chalupas, but yes, overall 100% great recipe. Highly recommend. Thank you for watching.